Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Pull up a chair at punchboardmedia.com.
So today is Saturday, so we are in our rainbow regalia. Show it all off. There we go. Because today is also the day of the Columbus Pride Parade, so we are showing our pride by wearing the rainbow ourselves. We're also doing a giveaway, so if you're already watching this, hopefully we've already given it away. But check Instagram for all of that. So we're just going to see what's going on. We're gonna, should be the busiest day because it is Saturday. It's usually the busiest day here at Origins, so that's who we can chat with. We are here now with Ross of IDW, and they have some games to show off. So what do we have going on?
So we've got a lot of really cool games. Thank you for having me on. Maybe we can talk about this stuff. So IDW right now, we're exploring a lot more with a lot more licensed games, which is super cool, and getting a lot more engaged with designers and artists and all kinds of fun stuff. It's been a very busy year for us. We had our Kickstarter for Mask of the Red Death in January, and then we had a campaign which just finished up for Nickelodeon Splat Attack. And along with that, we've had a lot of really cool releases. And so we're going into Comic-Con and Gen Con and a lot of fun stuff like everyone else is. And so we have a lot of really cool games, and I'm really happy to kind of bring some of those out. So let's just go right off the top. So we have our Munchkin Turtles, which is super cool. And so we just finished the Kickstarter with Action Games and did the whole thing. So this is the mock box for the retail version. And so with this game, what's very, very cool, it's all new art for Kevin Eastman. So he's the co-creator of Ninja Turtles. So if you're a fan of Ninja Turtles and the whole thing like that, this is going to be an excellent game. Because it's got all new art, the whole thing, and it was fun because during the campaign you ran for it, Kevin was like selling the originals on his page, and they were going right away, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the art's so great!" And so it's super cool. So we're gonna have this version available in retail stores, and then we're gonna have the deluxe version as well.
Okay.
So the deluxe version is gonna come with the board, the player standees, all that fun stuff.
Awesome.
So if you like turtles and that, and then this will be delivering to Kickstarter backers relatively soon, and then right after that, it's going to go to retail stores and the whole thing like that, which is going to be great. I'm super jazzed for this game. If you like turtles, this is the way to go. We also have these cool deck boxes as well.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, so if you like turtles, it has all the cool Kevin Eastman art. It's got the nice, shiny finish on there too. So if you like turtles and want stuff for your cards, it's the way to go. It's super fun.
Awesome.
And then we've got Death Note. So we've got Death Note Confrontation. This is by Jordan and Mandy. So if you guys know the anime at all, so it's you've got L versus Kira, right? And so the game is based right when they bring in L, and he's trying to figure out where Kira is, right? And so they release the different information into the different TV regions. And so in this game, it's a head-to-head game. And so you've got these books, not Death Notes, but you've got books for L and for Kira. And you have these cool cards and dice and things like that as well, which is really neat. And so what you're doing is you're going to have these booklets. I already wrote in that one, but so they have their own blank pages. And so you're playing to 15 points. And so Kira gets points by killing off criminals. And so you get 1 point for knives, 2 for guns, and 3 for bombs. And so L wins by stopping Kira before he gets 15. So at the beginning of the game, Kira's going to draw a card that'll be from these chapter 1, chapter 2, and that'll tell him which suspect he is. And so that will then allow him to figure out where he is on the board. And then he'll use these cool squares here. So let's say he was suspect P. So then he would go, I am right there. And that's the region that he's in. Okay. So those are where the deaths that he can kill. And then also he's allowed to do a couple deaths outside of the range as well to kind of throw off the detective and figure out what's going on. So you'll roll the dice, and that'll tell L which suspects that he can tell Kira, oh, these are the criminals. And so then Kira will have to pick which ones he wants to kill out of those each round. Okay. And so you use those to decipher where he's at. And so it's a super fun, super quick game, but at the same time, it's very, very challenging because you're trying to figure out like, oh, I got to rush before they get there. So if you're a fan of the license or just a fan of a really cool head-to-head game, this game's great. It's on a boat right now. It should be available early July. So Jordan and Mandy did a great job with it. It's super fun. If you like Death Note, that's the way to do that, which is super cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. So kind of curious got the same thing with all that, and then it also goes to to chapter 2.
Oh, wow.
So you've got your chapter 1, which is kind of light, and then chapter 2 gets pretty heavy, very dense city, right? So which makes it a little bit more challenging as well, which is great. So then we've got Dragon Ball Z Perfect Cell dice game. Yeah. So I'm seeing the head nod over there, right? So this is super cool. So this is a Chris Bryan game. So it's a threat management game.
Okay.
So what you're doing in Dragon Ball Z Perfect Cell is you're defending the Earth against Cell, and so he's got this whole board in the back there, and he's going to be dealing damage out to the players, the current player, or everyone. So you can see he's got different abilities that he'll be attacking you or that or different stuff. And so as Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Krillin, Piccolo, whoever you decide to play as, you've got abilities and different dice that you're going to roll. And there's dice that do attacks, there's dice that do key blasts, there's dice that do blocks, there's dice that allow you to pass energy. That's very big in the show where they pass energy around and do those things like that. So you're rolling all these different dice that are either boosting up your abilities to attack Cell, or you're rolling dice that allows you to buy more actions that you can do, like Kamehameha or Disc or all the different Dragon Ball Z abilities, or you can give more dice to your friends. Like if you know they've got like a big ability coming up, you can do it that way. So if you get like games like Pandemic and things like that, this is very much a game that fits that theme. But it's Dragon Ball Z, which is super cool as well. We're super happy. It sold out of the first print run, so it came out back in March. It did really well, and so we have another print run for this game coming up, which is going to be super fun. Along with that, we are doing more with Dragon Ball Z. So stay tuned for announcements there. But we've been doing a lot more with cool tin games that are like little, like smaller, but at the same time they really have a really cool gameplay to it. So we've got some stuff we kind of previewed at Gamma that I can't talk about too much right now. But at the same time, stay tuned to like IDW, Facebook, and our website because we'll have some more stuff for Dragon Ball Z, for big box, and for cute games too. So that's gonna be super rad.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then we have our Mask of the Red Death. So this had a Kickstarter in January, and then it's on a boat right now. And we'll be backers are going to get it, and then we're going to put it in stores. And so it's artwork all by Grizz Grimley. So Grizz Grimley is super awesome. He fully illustrated the box, the boards, the cards. So we can pull it up here and kind of do a cool little fun unboxing, right? So we've got. So it's based on Edgar Allan Poe short story, Mask of the Red Death. And if you haven't read it, we put it in the back of the book too, so you can do all of that, which is just super great, and catch up on what you aren't, you uncultured swine, if you haven't read it, right? So, which would be great. And so, along with that, it's got a great board. So in the game, it's a 4 to 7 player game, and what you're doing is you are playing to be the most popular, right? So you need to be gossiping and dancing with the prince and doing all these things that allows you to get points. And so we have this really cool clock as well. Oh, Standy's popping out. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So awesome clock. It doesn't do anything, but man, it looks cool. So there you go. And so you're playing as the different characters that are in the story. So like Prince Prospero and dukes and the earls. And so you've got cards out, and these cards are all here, and they've got abilities that allow you to jest and dance and swindle and gossip. And so you're going to be adding to your popularity points, which is what's going to be moving you around the board here. And so as each player plays these different cards, you've got jest, and so everyone has the same deck as well. So you're all doing the same abilities you've got going on. They allow you to move or get more points. And then no one can be on the same space as well. So there's a lot of leapfrogging, which is great. It kind of allows for that movement. So you got to kind of judge, how, okay, am I going to play it now? Am I not? What's going on? So while you're doing that, and you're moving around the room and you're hanging out with different players doing stuff, you're also learning information about when the Red Death is going to show up. So you've got these cards that'll all have a time and a room color. And so as you're doing that, obviously we have them out, but we're just kind of doing a light demo, right? And so it'll have a time and that, and so those will be over here. And so you're going to get cards that allow you to, well, on the right time, so 1250, so they'd be there. But you would be going around, and either you're doing stuff to mess with players, or you're learning which which time and what room, right? So let's say if I was at 12:40 and we had played some card that allowed me to look, I could then look and see this and know at 12:40 if the red death will come and then be in the pink room. So I've got to remember that information for when midnight comes. And then when midnight comes, I've got to be able to remember which information I grabbed for that so that I know which room to be in at the right time. And if not, the red death gets you and you die. So it's a cool make management of points while also you got to remember what's going on with that. So it's a bit of both. It's super fun. 4 to 7 players. I found it that depending on which you're playing with, it still runs the same amount of time.
Okay.
There's a lot of like the same moving and doing all of that. It's a good party game, right? It's a so, which is super cool. There's a lot of great components, and it's more of that Grizz Grimly art too, and the components and the standees are just super rad. So
Those are fantastic.
yeah, and then you've got these really cool character cards too, so that allows you to track the different times, right? Because it'll be behind your character sheet, so you can do all that. But then, of course, if you misjudge and are in the wrong room, then you die. So yeah, right? Yeah. So it's really neat. So this game will be out very soon, probably in the next month or so. So which would be great. So that's kind of the games that I brought, which is super neat, right?
Awesome. Everything looks fantastic. I'm really excited about the turtles.
Yeah, the Turtle Punch it's going to be super good. So it was cool because when the standees showed up for Turtles, they're big. Like Slash was like this big, like off the, I'm like, that's a standee, man. Like it's honking, which is super cool. So yeah, that's going to be, we've got that going on. And all the art looks super great. So if you like Turtles art and that kind of celebration of that, like it's super neat. So the Kickstarter backers, we also had a sepia tone version. So very much kind of looks like the old Mirage comics and the whole thing like that. So yeah, if you didn't back it, you should still be able to hopefully get a copy somehow. But so that's gonna be neat as well. So yeah, we're really jazzed for Turtles Munchkin. It came out really well, and it's nice that we get to kind of like, it really fits the theme really well. So in the game you're playing as like Leonardo and Donatello and Casey and all the different characters, and so then you've got different katas that you can gain. So like different stances that'll give you more abilities.
Okay.
And then the turtles also have a lot of team up abilities as well. So like if you're fighting a monster with another turtle, you can get bonus points or all that stuff too. So it's still Munchkin where you're doing a lot of backstabbing, but also the turtles are obviously brothers and ninjas and they all work together, and which is super fun. And then there's some really cool villains too. So like Baxter is right. We build the mousers and everything like that, right? And so when he comes out, he gets bonuses for how many phones are on the table.
Wow.
Right, so you're just like, oh, it's so good. And then when Rock City comes out, you got to go and find Bebop and get him to come out too, which is super cool. And so John Kahn was the guy that designed the Munchkin Turtles version, and he was a huge Turtles fan just from forever. And so when he we were doing the campaign for it, he brought his first Turtles art he ever drew with crayons like back in the day, and he's like, so what do you think? Like concept art, right? We're like, oh, that's so cute. No. But
Special edition?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll get Kevin Eastman to sign it. It'll be good. Yeah. So it's fun. So it's got a lot of heart. And if you like Turtles games and obviously Munchkin games, like it's gonna be stellar. Yeah. So along with that, we've got a couple of other things in the works. So for Turtles, we also announced we're going to be doing another Shadows of the Past, kind of like a reboot, which is going to be really cool. And then we're also going to be having the City Fall expansion. So everybody, we had talked about that during the first Kickstarter, like about a year ago, or 2 years ago now at this point. And so we're really excited to do that. So we have Daniel and Pete, who are from the community, and they have now they're going to be the designers on that game. And Kevin Wilson, who did the first game with that, he's going to oversee the game design lead and all of that, which is going to be really great. So we're excited for that game. So if it's like the first Turtles Adventures game, it's going to be awesome. So we're adding. It's gonna be cool. So we've got that in the works as well, and I think we as I was gonna have, but then the Joker attacked, so we have our Batman animated series board game coming out as well.
Okay.
Which is gonna be super cool. So it's Gotham City Under Siege, and so it's by Richard Lanius, and so it's all new Batman animated series art, which looks right out of the cartoon, which is super great. And it's going to be a threat management, like 3D buildings. It's miniature. It's going to be cool. So that's going to go right to retail. So no Kickstarter on that. It's going to be super fun, and hopefully we'll have more for that at Comic-Con. So stay tuned on that.
Awesome. So it looks like IDW is going to be very busy.
Yeah. It is a wonderful time to be in games right now, right? And so everyone's playing, everyone just wants to get more to consume, and at the same time, I'm glad that we can kind of celebrate that as well. So it's all good stuff.
Definitely. And thank you for showing everything to us and talking to us.
Glad to do it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. So when I woke up this morning, I feel like I needed more Bruce in my life, and I found a Bruce.
You did. Everyone needs more Bruce in their life. It's good that you're telling these people. I'm going to talk right here where the truth lives, right in the truth hole. Good morning. Good, I'm going to guess, either morning or like real late night, like 2:30 in the morning. Thanks for joining us here at Origins. How are you? How's your show going?
Great, how are you?
I'm fantastic. This is Saturday. So I'm with what's left of my voice as we coast through Saturday and get into Sunday. Pride Parade's outside, so this is always, to me, the best day of Origins. The most people, and there's a giant parade that comes by. And the Columbus Parade's like the second biggest in the country, they told me, with Chicago being number one. Yep. So it's like 4 hours of parade. So what's cool about that is you can literally do this job for a couple of hours, show people games, go outside, catch some Pride, come back in, show more games, go back outside, it's still there. It's wonderful. I love it.
It's never ending sometimes.
No, that's what I've heard. I've heard in some years it's like 5 or 6 hours, which, that's awesome. It means I can do this and then go outside and it's just like the world is still going on and it's still awesome and it's still marching bands playing We Are Family, which I think if I could just have a marching band that followed me and played We Are Family, I'd take it. I think that's a win. That's a win, yeah. It's a win everywhere.
We can get that scheduled for next year.
Oh, if only. If only. So, okay, we've done enough of that. I should probably show you games.
Yeah, sure.
That's everybody. Half of your crowd is left. They're like, we're done. I didn't ask for any of this. So these are, we take a look, if you don't mind coming down, just to show. These are our new games in our Happy Planet line of games. Happy Planet games, the whole goal of them is to make you a little happier, which I think is a super cool design goal. We saw the kind of effect that Happy Salmon was having on people, to where they just loved it and then people watching and it made everyone happier. Now, we phrase it that way because we don't want to be disingenuous. It's not going to make you happy. If you're having a bad day, Happy Salmon's not going to fix it. But no matter how your day is, these games are going to make you a little happier. Okay? So assuming you already know Happy Salmon, you do actions, you slap 5, you run around. We have Funky Chicken. Funky Chicken comes in the cool chicken packaging. And it has 4 new actions. The 4 new actions are the bump. Let's hit bump. We bump. Bump. We have the spin. Get that one out. We have the spin, where we spin in place.
I might get
You don't know.
I
know. I didn't know. I knew you weren't going to do it. Some part of me was kind of hoping you might try, because that was going to be kind of fun. But no, don't worry about it. The third one is the swing. It's like a locked arm do-si-do. We would lock arms and spin in a circle.
Okay.
Both you can't put the microphone down and you can't spin in a circle. But I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that is how it would work out. Final one is the Funky Chicken. If you've ever been to a wedding or a bar mitzvah, you know how that one works. You do the Funky Chicken. And how you confirm that one with someone is you look them right in the eyes and you say, "So funky." And then you throw the cards down. Same game at the end when you're done all the cards, you win, everybody plays at the same time. Neat thing about this is if you take a look at the colorway of Funky Chicken and the colorway of Green Happy Salmon, they are similar, so you can combine them together. So you pick the 4 actions that you like for the game that you want to play. So we have that. That is already out. That is in your friendly local game stores right now.
Awesome.
The other game we have in the series is a game called Monster Match. First, happiness starts at the packaging. It's a happy little monster. Then to show you the game, you lay down 10 of these monster cards. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's good for Hollywood. If you take a look, some of the monsters are going to be similar. Trying to find 2 that are similar to show you what I'm talking about, like these guys. But no 2 are the same. What you care about are eyes, arms, and legs. You're going to roll 2 dice. 1 is a number, 0 through 5. 1 is eyes, arms, and legs. You roll them, and you're looking for, in this case, a 3-eyed monster. If you find one, you put your finger on it. If there are multiples, once I claim one, you can still claim one. Everybody at the table can claim one as long as there are more out there. Okay? If, like this case, none of them are out there, touch the zilch token. The first person to touch the zilch token gets a 1-card bonus. and then we add 10 more cards to the table.
The vampires need blood.
I really want to do this because I feel like I could do this and I could meet the Gen Con guy. Attention Origins attendees! Like, I don't know. All I know is it's enough. I can't hear it, and it's just enough to ruin what we're doing. That's all it is.
We have a better mic this year.
That's nice. I just, anytime I hear that, I just stop in any real way. And I feel like if I go dead stop, it's easier for you guys to edit. And then this gives you a great outtake of this moment.
In super slow motion.
Attention Origins attendees. Don't forget, folks, it's a blood drive. We're literal vampires. That's how I would have done the blood drive. Yeah. Okay. So then you put down 10 more cards. Once that happens, now what's really cool is with all those cards out there, is how you win the game is the most donut points. So even if you are the fastest to get to something, you might only get 1 point for it. If somebody else pays a little more attention, they might be able to get 2 points. That's twice as many points as you got. So it's not just about how fast you are, it's about paying attention. What's really neat about this, if you're kind of a gamery type and you really get into the nuts and bolts, is that the game fluxes. So when a ton of cards end up on the table, you want to be meticulous. You want to get to the 3 donut cards. When the game is really tight, there's only like 4 cards, it's just grinding as fast as you can get stuff. So not only is it a fun game in a monster pouch, but it really does have a little bit of meat to it for this type of game. So I always compare it to Spot It.
Okay.
What I don't like about Spot It is that if I'm good and you're not, I'm going to spot it at you. And you're just going to go like, cool game, bro. I wasn't really there with you, but I hope you had fun. And that's not what we want. This lets everybody play and everybody have fun. And kids can beat adults at this legitimately without like pretending you don't see things. I think it's a really, really awesome game. It retails for $18. It's at your local toy and game store right now. Comes in a super awesome monster pouch. And once again, it's the 3rd part of our Happy Planet series game, just to make you a little bit happier.
Awesome.
Let's see other things. We have Warsaw City of Ruins that's come out. So if you're a strategy gamer, it was Capital from Grana. Really cool game, tile-laying city building game about Warsaw, Poland. And it really uses buildings from Warsaw. It constricts the area you can work in. You're allowed to overbuild over tiles. A lot of really cool things going on with that game. We have that at the show. That'll be in stores August this year. We also just found out on the ride in, we have the rights for Quacksalber von Quinlanberg. It meant nothing to me either. Don't worry if you're watching.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you're out there and you don't know what I'm talking about, I get it. So the Kenner Spiel des Jahres, which is like the Spiel des Jahres, but like, oh, you're a nerd, has 3 games that came out. Heaven and Ale, one that I think means That Clever Fox in German, and then Quacksalber von Quinlanberg. We are bringing Quacksalber to the United States. So if you're out there and you're that kind of nerd and you're on Amazon DE trying to figure out how much shipping is, don't worry. We are making a version in English that is understandable to American and Canadian English speakers. It will be out in October. We're getting it as fast as we can. We'll have it then. We will have a copy at Gen Con to show, but we will not have it available for sale. It will be for sale, but we hope in October.
Awesome. And anything else we have going on? There's lots happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. So I have to think about how to delicately word this. For the video game, which is coming to Steam and the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, we are going to announce at Gen Con when the game is coming out. That's our big official announcement. So I can tell you at Gen Con, you're going to learn a thing.
So there's a big question mark.
It's a giant question mark. I hope I don't get in trouble for this year. It'll be this year, but we're going to announce at Gen Con when you're actually going to be able to get it in Steam and on the App Store and at Google Play and all those great places.
So stay tuned for more for that.
Absolutely. A whole ton of stuff coming out from us. We have the Oceans and Evolution game that'll be eventually coming out, I think, later this year. We have Super Wits, which is down the pipeline. We have a whole bunch of stuff we're working on. Just keep watching. North Star, the thing I like that I saw on Twitter was when hearing about Warsaw City of Ruins and Quacksalber von Quinlanberg, someone said, I can't believe North Star finally made a game I care about. Which, buddy, no. But for a lot of folks that have not really paid attention because they may not like our party games, you're going to want to start watching us. We're bringing a lot of amazing stuff over, and we're making a lot of amazing stuff in-house. So we have a lot of stuff coming. We got stuff coming in Target. We'll talk about it at, I'll send you stuff at Gen Con, and we'll start talking about some of it there. But we have 3 Target releases that are coming out. All kinds of stuff going on.
Awesome. So make sure we stay paid attention to North Star and thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for taking the time to come down here. I really thank you. Thanks to both of you, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we're over at Inside Up Games talking to Connor and talking about a couple games that they have going on here. So what do we have?
Okay, there's a bunch on the table today. I guess on our right, your left, would be Summit the board game. So this is a game I kickstarted in 2016. It's come out and doing really well for itself, which makes me happy. We're doing a second print run in 4 languages, which is blowing my mind. But basically it's a survival game, competitive, cooperative, or solo. So it's a 2-sided board. It's set up right now on the display on the competitive side. So players will be racing from the base camp up to the summit and then back down, making points for pole position as they arrive at the different waypoints. The game's made a lot more interesting, however, by the use of the karma track on the karma cards. So during the race, you'll be playing cards to actively help and hurt each other. Whether you're giving them some of your speed, or slowing them down, or hiding rocks in their backpack, whatever you want to do to make their trek better or worse.
Okay.
The thing is, it's a way of tracking who's actually being nice and mean during the race, so it's a resource, but also end-game scoring. So you could win by being extra nice and still fast in the race, as opposed to being extra mean to anybody. So you got to balance that very carefully. If you flip it over, then it's the cooperative side where players need to work together to get to the summit and then back down, and the tracks on the side change to a Sherpa track and a time of the day track. There's also, as you can see, 6 asymmetrical player boards with their own stats and abilities. Each player is responsible for carrying their own food and oxygen, and the more they carry, the heavier they get. And as their weight increases, their speed decreases. So there's resource management and press your luck as well. Everything else you can think about is tile laying, route building. You'll be building a new mountain every time you play. Difficulty settings from very easy all the way down to very hard legendary, making a longer, more grueling game. At the end of your turn, you're going to be rolling the dice, big chunky dice, to see what the mountain's going to do to you. If you get one of the horrible mountains, you'll draw an event card. These are about 80% bad, so you want to avoid them when possible. And then the weather will tell you how much food you're going to have to consume, and if the overall weather on the mountain gets worse. If that doesn't sound horrible enough, there is a Yeti expansion where this adorable little guy will now move around the mountain, hunting you and your friends, and either hurting you for one or eating some of your food. It also comes with new character mats as well as cards as well. That's a quick pitch of Summit. On the far right-hand side of the table, it's kind of a mess now, but we have Vault Assault, which is a cops and robbers dice game for 2 to 4 players, where they will be rolling dice, trying to rob the bank, steal as much money as they can from each other, or just mess each other up at the same time. The police officers have certain stages of the heist they have to do, so they'll be rolling their dice and creating mosaics to signify the different stages: when they eat their donut, when they drive to the crime scene, when they try to surround them, and when they arrest them. A little bit of push your luck mechanic. It's fun for kids or for your drinking buddies when you're sitting around waiting for game night to start. Then if we jump into the middle of the table, we have Gorus Maximus, which just launched Kickstarter on Monday, June 11th, and it's doing really well for itself. It actually funded in 12 hours, which is a new thing for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty surprised about that, but I love it. I mean, the big help, I think, is having this amazing art by Kwanchai Moria. He's just so versatile and amazing. I love it. I'm really happy with everything he's done and how it's turned out. This is still a prototype, and he's even refined the art even more, which is amazing to me. And yeah, you can see that wonderfully gory cover there. And that is a 2 to 8 player trick-taking game with some unique little twists on the genre to make the game a little bit more interesting. So in Gorus Maximus, you'll be playing different gladiators trying to win bloody bouts and earn the crowd's favor and the crowd's support. So what you'll see on the cards are these positive numbers here that you would earn by playing the cards, winning the tricks, and gathering those. Whoever has the highest amount of crowd favor at the end of a turn will win one of these crowd tokens on the side. The part that makes the game interesting is that there's not just positive numbers, but there are negative numbers. And that adds a lot of strategy where you can't have any sort of lead strong, drain trump tricks in your hand because people are going to feed you those negative cards. Also within the trump suit, there's a 0 card that is worth no points until the end of the game. At the end of the game, only the 0 of the final trump will be worth 5 points.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because during the game, we have a trump tracking card, as trump can change mid-trick. So what Greg's done for me lovingly, we'll play them out over here as an example hand of how it could work. So like most trick-taking games, if the first player plays a pink, you're going to have to follow suit unless you don't have any. If you don't have any, you could throw in maybe one of your negative cards. The next players are trying to avoid that negative, so they're going to play more pink but stay under to not win the trick. This last player, however, unfortunately does have the pink 11, meaning that he would take the trick and those negative 4 points. The part that our game has that's unique is not only can you match that, but you can also match the rank of the card being played. So if you like, they can match that and that change trump immediately to your suit. So in this example here, trump changes to brown, and this player will actually win the trick and eat their own -4 points. So that ability to manipulate the deck means that you have to be thinking on your feet as the strategy can change. It does go 2 to 8 players. You can play free-for-all or teams, depending what you want to do.
Okay.
And the deck is actually scalable. So if you look in the bottom corner of these cards, you'll see that they're player count dependent. So the deck itself will change depending on who's playing the game.
Okay.
So you'll always have 10 cards in your hand, making the game fast and fun to play.
Awesome.
It's on Kickstarter right now. The base pledge is $15 US, and
Okay.
then the premium game is $20.
And ETA for it?
Yeah, the plan is to have an Essen release this year, so
Okay.
backers should be getting their games in October.
Awesome. And that sounds fantastic. So thank you for talking to us.
Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
We have ventured over to Haba. We were talking to Bobby about everything they have going on in the booth. So what do we have happening today?
Yeah, so we have a lot of exciting stuff that we're showing off at Origins. We have our whole My Very First line. We're down to just a few of them now, but all the My Very First games play down to 2 years old, so they're all for educational purposes, color matching, counting, pattern recognition. The good thing with them too is they can all be played as like toys first. So if they can't take turns yet, if they can't roll dice yet, you can set the game up, have them play with it as a toy, and start working into those game mechanics that we're all sort of familiar with for young kids. As we progress around, we have some new exciting reprints and new and exciting titles. Sleepy Princess Pile Up is a reprint for us. It's based on the Princess and the Pea fairy tale. So there's actually a pea underneath the bed. So it's cooperative. You're having to stack all of the mattresses up without having things knock over. Nice, simple kids game. There's an easy and an advanced side. So we try to have variable play with most of our games. So you can work up that into the age range. Conex is a new abstract strategy card game for us. So you're trying to match colored corners in order to score points. So if you make a colored match, you'd score whatever the match was, and then if you covered a symbol on the card, you'd get to do that action. So that's a dice roll, which might represent card draw or extra points you're getting. And it's really neat because you ended up making this sort of large abstracted card shape on the table because you're just building out from the center. So there's no board besides the score track, so the table length is sort of the restriction that you have. And that's been a really fun game for us too, and kind of a new space for us as far as small abstract card games go. Kruba Jr. is the newest in the Kruba line, so Kruba is our award-winning, really popular game from Rudiger Dorn. This is a young version of it, so it's cooperative, so we're not competing against each other like in the regular Kruba. You're trying to get all the adventurers to the treasure before the pirates end up on the beach. So the pirates get to the beach first, pirates win. If you can get all 3 of the kids to the treasure before pirates get there, you win. Each turn you're just flipping over a tile, and you can talk amongst yourselves on where you want to place the tile in the grid. So you're expanding off from the beach, exploring into the jungle more and more. There's also these tigers that will make dead ends, so you're going to have to pre-plan a little bit on where you want your paths to go.
Okay.
Monza is sort of our classic racing game, dice rolling game. So on your turn, you're going to roll all the dice, and then what I usually like to do is have the kids sequence the dice out. So this represents the movement that you can make. If you can't make a move or you want to end your movement, you just stop where you ended up. Next person goes. Usually do 2 or 3 laps. You can scale it up and down as best you want for the kids. So Tiny Park is our Yahtzee-style Tetris game.
Okay.
So you roll all these dice on your turn, and you're trying to purchase these amusement park rides. So each symbol on the dice represents one of the things you could purchase. So if I had these two and then these two, I could purchase this ride, turn in my dice. I can place this anywhere on my board that I want. Once it's placed, it's placed. I'm trying to fill up my board before everybody else fills up their board. So we would take turns going back and forth. So you have a little bit of pre-planning about how much you want to spend, what symbols you've rolled. You can obviously re-roll a couple times. It's been a really fun game for us. So then we move into the Rhino Hero series, which I know is a fan favorite amongst kids and adults. So regular Rhino Hero, you're just kind of building straight up. With the Super Battle version, you're making this sort of larger apartment complex, battling each other for supremacy, trying to be the tallest superhero on the tower when the tower collapses. So there's double high walls, there's hanging spider monkeys, there's 4 different superhero characters to be, and that's been doing really good for us. It's a lot of fun to play. It's fun for adults too.
Yeah, we were able to demo that last year, and it was absolutely hilarious and fantastic.
We don't have it here, but we have a big version too that we made, so that'll be at Gen Con and all the other conventions, and that's been really fun to play too.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. You can swing around to Kruba the card game.
Yep, I'm gonna.
So I showed you Kruba Jr. This is the card version of Kruba. Plays up to 6 out of the box, which is really nice. Plays about 10 minutes. Same concept. We were trying to get a adventurer of their colored temple to make a continuous path to get there. The interesting part is, though, we're all going to play 2 out of 3 cards in hand each round. The sum of the cards, though, is important because amongst the 3 of us, if we were playing, whoever has the lowest sum would have to discard one of their cards. So this is every card in the game. So you get to, as the game progresses, you can see what people have played, what cards they have left in hand. So, he might have a 20 left that he's going to play, so do I want to risk this 18 where I might have to discard my card? I think it's a really nice take on, a really nice change on the regular Kruba card mechanic, and not many games play 6 out of the box, so that's a nice advantage there. And then we get over to Dragon's Breath, which just won the Kinderspiel on Tuesday. It's the German Kids Game of the Year. So we're really excited about this one. There's a couple ways to play, but the basics of it are you're going to choose one of these colored tokens, and that's what you think is going to fall off the tower. Because we're baby dragons, and we've stumbled upon this ice tower, we want to melt it to get these crystals off. Okay. So let's say I choose yellow, you choose purple, you choose red. One of us will lift the top off, and anything that falls off that has that matching color, we can collect for points. Anything that's not just gets pushed down into the holes. We reset, turn passes to the next player. You get to choose first, and so on. So normally, because we've been playing, normally there's more stuff that falls off each round. When the game ends, you just lift the board up, and anything that's in your cave at the corners, you just count for points. You can also play with younger kids, where you just give them one color. So you just say you're yellow for the whole game, so that there's no decision making. And there's a 2-player variant, which I really like, where we would draft each other's colors. So I'd give you a color, you'd give me a color, and we do that twice. And I think that's a fun way to play too. It's a really cool component. It's really fun gameplay.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And 2 to 4 players, 5 up, plays in about 10 minutes.
So that is really cool. So there's a lot going on here at the booth, and obviously we go from 2 to etc.
Exactly, yeah. So we're known for our younger games, but we, as the people that play our games or as their parents want to also play games, we progress through to older games for teens and adults, strategy games. So we try to cover all the range.
Awesome. And thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
We've ventured over now to USAopoly, and we're talking to Jake, and they have a couple of games going on here. So what do we have here at Origins?
So we are here talking about a few of the Marvel games that we have coming out, and also previewing Samurai Jack, you can see here. So what we're doing is just showing people the immersive, beautiful licensed games that we have coming out. So this is going to be, for Samurai Jack, this is going to be a Gen Con release under our Project Raygun division. This is a light strategy, semi-cooperative card drafting game where we are playing as Jack's friends that you can see here with the beautiful painted minis. They'll be pre-painted, so you don't have to worry about painting them. And you're trying to be the most helpful to Jack and get the most honor points possible. So Jack's been becoming insane because of Aku, if you're familiar with the show at all. And so at the end of the track, there's going to be a villain, and you need the certain cards to be able to get the most points for the most honor points. So you'll be moving around the board and drafting these cards from the different episodes from the show, and trying to get the most points to help Jack. It's a quick overview of the game. We'll have this available at Gen Con, $35. And if you can't make the Gen Con, it'll be at your friendly local game store at the same time.
Awesome. And then it looks like we have Deadpool over here.
Yeah, so we have a fun Deadpool party game. Deadpool vs. the World is an adult party game for 3+ players for $25. It's got very familiar party game style gameplay where you reveal a card and then everybody else has a hand of these caption cards, so they are blank initially. Some of them, they should be. I grabbed the wrong stack. So they're blank like this one, and you use the pen to fill in the blank with how you want to describe what's going on with Deadpool. So this is an example. This is the picture, and these are some caption cards people wrote. So calm, cool, and Yoki. My therapist said I have egg issues, and son of an omelet. So then whoever's the judge for that round will pick their favorite. So say it was a son of the omelet card, that person would get the points, play 5 points to win, 10 points to win, however long you want to keep playing the game. So the beautiful thing of this game is the creativity and the customization with these cards, because you get to fill in the blank. You just need a wet paper towel or something to wipe it off, so it's pretty easy to clean it up. And then all the fun, ridiculous silliness that Deadpool has got himself into. So there's 100 illustrated cards in here, 300 caption cards for you to enjoy over and over and over again. And you also don't have to be a fan of Deadpool to play this game. So it makes it fun for everybody.
Awesome, and I think Thanos is attacking over here?
Yes, Thanos has taken over Origins in a mean way, so you can kind of take a look at the table here. So it's a cooperative dice and card game where you are playing as a different Avenger, Doctor Strange, Gamora, Black Panther, or Captain America, and you are trying to defeat Thanos' minions before he takes over different Infinity Stones, kills a certain number of heroes, or defeats a team altogether. So 3 ways to lose, 1 way to win. Defeat his minions before he defeats you. So it's a lot of fun. You're going to roll dice, get different combinations, as you see they're doing there. Different combinations of dice to attack or acquire heroes. Dice are weighted to certain symbols. And yeah, it's a really fun themed game for the hottest movie of the year.
Definitely. We haven't seen it yet, so.
Yeah, well, we'll get you a copy. And you haven't seen the movie yet?
Haven't seen the movie yet.
What? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. In the movie yet. Well, you got to get on that.
Yes, definitely.
And then you can play the game.
Yes.
There's a little spoilery in the game, but
that's okay.
It's okay. If you haven't been spoiled now, you
yeah,
know,
it's been long enough.
you.
We deserve it.
So yeah, so that's what we're doing here at USAopoly, just having a little bit of fun with some licensed games, trying to change people's minds of that licensed games can actually be good, solid, fun games. So that's what
awesome.
we got here.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. So now we're all the way at the back of Hall C. Yeah, we're in C now. Yes. So we're talking with Rick about the MMA combat card game. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so MMA combat card game. It's a 2-player game where you simulate an MMA fight.
Okay.
You start off with 30 toughness. This is your life total. The object of the game is to knock your opponent down to 0. You can do that by playing maneuvers and counters and referee cards. You'll notice the fight starts off in standing. You have 3 positions. The fight is either standing, clinched, or grounded. Some cards can only be played in one position. Some cards can be played in more than one position. For example, this can be played if you're clinched, whereas this can be played if you're standing or if you're grounded. So if we were clinched, we couldn't play this. If we're standing or grounded, we can play it. So maneuvers and referee cards can only be played during your turn. Counters can only be played during your opponent's turn. And some cards change the position of the fight. For example, we have this referee here. Let's get it on. Stand up the fight. Each player may draw up to 3 cards. So whether we're clinched, grounded, or standing, you can play this to move the fight to standing, and each player can draw 3 cards. A fight, just like a game, just like an MMA fight, is 3 5-minute rounds. So at the beginning, we randomly determine who's going first. So if he goes first, round 1, I get to go first round 2. That's if I'm not knocked out before then. So, and it can happen. So he goes first. He takes his first turn of the game. He'll draw a card, try to play something. If you can't play a card, or if you choose not to play a card, we have what's called the regroup rule. You can discard a card and draw 2 instead. That way it'll give you something to do later on in the game. So he takes his first turn, I take my first turn. His second turn, my second turn, and so forth. After he's taken his 5th turn of the game, and I've taken my 5th turn of the round, we end the round, we stand up the fight, we go to the next round, and then we recover. We go to the recovery phase. And what you'll do is you can, when you recover at the end of a round, but at the end of the first and the second round, you can choose to either shuffle 5 cards from your discard pile you've taken on damage, shuffle 5 cards back.
Okay.
You can gain 5 toughness, or you can draw 3 cards. So after we choose to recover, then it'll be my turn. I'll start, I'll draw a card, rinse, lather, repeat. Now, at the end of 15 turns, after 3 rounds, everybody's taking 15 turns. If nobody is at 0, the judges score the fight. So every card you successfully play stays in front of you and adds to your victory toughness total, or victory point total. So in this case, he has 2, 4, 5, and then -2, so he would have 3 victory points. If I had these in play, I have 3. 4, I have 4, so I would win on victory points. Now, when you successfully play a card, so let's say he plays, we're clinched, he plays a foot stomp. If I can't stop it from my hand, or if I don't stop it, first I resolve the text. I'll choose 2 cards from my hand and discard them, and then I'll take 3 toughness, putting me down to 27, and then I'll overturn 4 cards one at a time from my stamina deck until I either take all 4 damage or flip over a card that would stop this. If I flip over a card that would stop it, his card stays in play because it's successfully played, but it'll end his turn, and now I get to draw a card. And that's this overview of the game.
Awesome. And where can people find out more information about it?
The website, MMACCG.com.
Okay. And how can people win that belt? It's right there.
Hopefully, we're gonna run a world championship at Gen Con after the Kickstarter's successful.
Okay.
And we're looking to give one of these away.
But come and demo it. Maybe hold it for a few seconds.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing this to us.
Oh, thanks for having us.